Here we go. Starting with double kettlebell ground to overhead. That kettlebell is 35 pounds for the gentleman, and they have 9 repetitions. Those reps cannot be done unless the other player is in the hash mark or on the left or right of your screen. Ladies are working through those reps. Their kettlebell, 25 pounds per hand, 9 reps, and then they will move on to pistol stick jump overs. Starting weight for both male and female, a 6-inch stick. So that is a pistol squat hopping over their stick. It looks like the Lions have a slight lead over the Palms. There's a fault for the Lions, gives the Palms an opportunity to catch up. Okay, and the Lions have moved on to the second quadrant. Now they have 7 reps, starting with that kettlebell ground to overhead for the gentlemen, 45 pounds per kettlebell. For the ladies, 35 pounds. And it looks like the Lions are still in the lead in this second quadrant. 4 reps remaining for Guerra. Hudson, she's got 4 reps remaining. Now they are pretty evenly matched. Cardona for the Lions, about 1 rep ahead. Washington for the Palms, just behind him. They are now doing a pistol stick jump over at 12 inches. That is 1 foot off the ground. It looks like the Lions are still have a slight edge over the Palms as they're working through this second quadrant. 2 reps remaining for the Lions. 1 rep for the Palms. And it looks like both teams have substitute players. There is some strategic. Both teams now working those ground overhead in the third quadrant. 53 pounds per kettlebell and 5 repetitions each. Once again, they cannot work unless their partner is in that hash mark on the side. Both teams very even. Third quadrant, Lions just edging ahead of the Palms. They've got 2 reps remaining with that pistol stick jump over for the gentlemen, 15 inches for the ladies, 12 inches in the third quadrant. Lions still with a slight lead as they head into the fourth quadrant. 3 reps remaining. Medina, he's got 2 reps, 1 rep remaining. Those kettlebells, 70 pounds. Sanchez, she's on to hers. They are neck and neck as they head into these pistols. Both teams 1 rep each. Both gentlemen starting their pistol to stick jump overs. Palms now 1 rep ahead. Both sticks. Here we go. What's going to happen? There was a fault for the Palms. That leaves a window for the Lions. And it looks like another fault. And the Lions have taken the race by just a few seconds. 2 points are going to go to the Lions for finishing that in first. The Palms will get 1 for finishing under the cap, and we'll be right back.
It was a nice fight to the very end here in this race.
I'm a marketing specialist and also a fitness enthusiast. So I kind of do a little bit of everything, a little bit of gymnastics, a little bit of lifting, but I'm also a person who gets really bored with eating the same things. I like that Rebuilt has made it a lot easier for me to meal prep because it takes out a bunch of meals that I don't need to now prep. When I'm at work, I can just heat them up really quickly, or if I'm working from home, I can heat them up really quickly. And it just makes the time when I do get home after work or after the gym a lot simpler because I have those meals ready to go. I track most of my macros. You can scan them super easily, put them in MyFitnessPal. It's easy for me then to plan the rest of my meals with the rest of the macros that I have left for the day because it tallies it up super simple for me. Super clean food while also tasting really good. I feel like I'm getting a good healthy amount of protein, carbs, and fat per meal. I like the lifestyle line. It allows me to have a little bit more flavor, a little bit more carbs. I feel good going into training. I'm ready to go. It makes my life super simple and I really like them.
Coming into the snatch ladder this year, I didn't think I'd really be able to clear it because I haven't been training at all. I've snatched heavy once in 7 months. So the very first snatch ladder I ever did was against the Sharks in 2017. That was when I was training a lot, like 2 to 3 hours a day, and I had like full confidence in myself that I was gonna clear it, and then I missed it. And then I was super bummed. 2019, super confident. I was still snatching regularly, heavy, regularly, weekly, and I still missed it. Okay, so then last year, and I did it at the All-Star match, and so I was like, okay, maybe if I just run up and hit the last bar. I skipped all 3 bars just so I could try to hit 165, and I still missed it. 2022, zero confidence in myself. I had hurt my wrist at Wodapalooza, so I didn't snatch heavy in 7 months. I literally had zero confidence, like in my head and on our game plan, I was just gonna go 1 through 3. I wasn't even gonna attempt number 4, but then I hit 165 in the warm-up area before the match started, and I'm like, oh, okay, that felt really good. I didn't want to get too confident because I've never been able to clear it, so I was like, okay, maybe if I feel good on 1 through 3, I'll make the attempt at it. But I hit 1 and 2, hit the 3rd bar, really easy. Going up to the 4th, like I think I have a 50-50 chance. I'm giving it a go. So I was like, I knew I had like an extra few seconds to like set up and like take a deep breath before I get to the bar. But I knew as soon as I hit the hole, like in the bottom, that I had it, and I was super excited. I got thinking about it afterwards, like going into this match as a whole, like I thought there was a 0% chance that I would hit that ladder. The only thing that I have changed, besides training a lot less than the previous years, is take Kion consistently. I take Kion every single day. It obviously helps my recovery and muscle building, because without it, I don't think there's any way I would have cleared the snatch ladder. So seriously, if you're looking for an advantage, you got to give it a try.
My name is Matt Cable. I'm on the Tampa Bay Brigade, and I am their Strength and Utility Specialist. I was born in San Diego, California. My dad trained in the Navy, trained SEAL team actually. So we moved around a lot. Then I moved to Hawaii, lived in Hawaii for a while, and then settled down in Montana for most of my childhood. Now we are settling down in Florida. I went to high school in Great Falls, Montana, and we were the Great Falls High Bison. I was a 5-sport athlete growing up, and I ended up wrestling in college. I went to a private Catholic college, UGF, the University of Great Falls. So growing up, I wanted to start my career at a young age, and I wanted to be a police officer, but I knew the quickest way in the law enforcement would be the military. So after 2 years of college, I decided to join the military. I joined in 2012. I actually just officially medically retired out June 21st. As a young airman, I was diagnosed with leukemia. In the first battle with leukemia, I was able to fight through it, which is mostly my mentality. It was mentality, and it was the drive and dedication I had in the gym and in my training sessions. That actually initially is the reason why I'm still here, is because of the fitness level I was at, and how my body was able to fight through the adversity, fight through all the chemo rounds, and was able to survive and then make my comeback. 2019, I was able to deploy with my team. And then 3 months into my deployment, I then relapsed. So I got medevac back to the States. I then went back into a coma in ICU again, back in life support again for a second time. And my body, because of the shape I was in, was able to fight. Any advice that I could give anybody is to just wake up, go and work out, go and train, go push your mind, push your body. It's the best thing you can do. I know it helped me, and I think it could help you too. I'd like to shout out to my wife. She's at home taking care of our 8-month-old. It's not an easy task. I'm excited for the future and being able to.
And we are back with the mirror. With the mirror, each team has to send out 3 players, 3 male, 3 female. That bar, once it leaves the ground, cannot touch the ground until the end of the race. As you can see, the Palms have a slight lead over the Lions. Now, they are going for 28 total hang snatches. The men's bar is at 175 pounds and the ladies at 115 pounds. If, for any reason, a bar touches the ground, the entire team must go back to the start line, pick their bar back up, and then pick up where they left off. Now, the Palms are making light work of these barbells. They only have 3 reps remaining in their 3rd quadrant. The Lions are working from a deficit. And The Palms are moving into quadrant number 4 already. They've got 7 reps, and they're going to take this race. The Lions now heading into quadrant number 4. 3 reps remaining for the Palms. 2 reps, last one. And it looks like the Palms are going to take the second race. The mirror, 2 points going to the Palms. The Lions also finishing with plenty of time to spare. And we'll be right back.
Dr. Jamie here with the Box Doc, and we are going to talk about the butterfly ring muscle up and how to safely perform this movement. Before you start doing butterfly ring muscle ups, a couple things we should have under our belt as a prerequisite. If you can't string together 5 to 8 regular ring muscle ups, probably shouldn't be starting to perform this movement yet. Also, if we can't do maybe 2 to 3 strict ring muscle ups, this is another thing that we should probably hold off on until we build that prerequisite strength so that you can do this movement safely. We can do the butterfly ring muscle up 2 different ways. You can start from the top of the movement, or you can go back into the dip before you reach out into that extension pattern. But the goal here is creating a length tension relationship with the rings and your body. So what you don't want to do is come down and see the slack in the ring. You see the slack and you let out the slack. What that's going to do is at the bottom, it's going to kind of jerk you and put a lot of stress through those shoulders. What we want to do, whether you're moving from the top or here, is push those rings away and keep that tension without any slack on those rings so that you can get in that nice tight Superman position before you go back into that next muscle up. If you do this, it will actually make the muscle up easier because you will start swinging in a pattern that's going to basically set you up into that next muscle up. But if you lose that tension on those straps, you're going to start swinging all over the place and you're going to feel really jerky at the bottom.
The Peachy shorts are squat proof. They hold up for burpees. Hands down, they're my favorite things to wear. Squat test, I think we're good to go.
These leggings are to die for. So stretchy, super comfy.
They look cute, they feel good, they don't pinch on the sides. The legs are always loose enough and they don't dig in.
They don't move, which I appreciate because I'm one of the curvier girls.
I like them. They're great.
Love everything about them.
I'm really digging the Peachy.
I've loved wearing Peachy athletics this year.
Looking peachy.
All right, and we are back. We action. Next race coming up, the home team ringer point. This was chosen by the Fort Lauderdale Lions. They've got 4 rope climbs. Do not blink. This is going to be fast. Palms sending out Hansen. Lions sending out Leches. Head to head. 4 rope climbs. 12-foot target on that rope. And they've got about 15 seconds before they head out for this race. Once again, 4 rope climbs and then sprint to the finish line.
Ready.
Palms and Lions.
Stand by.
And here we go. Sprinting out to the rope. 4 rope climbs.
Bodyweight specialist for the Lions.
Looks like Leches making those rope climbs look easy. She's got 3 down. She's faulted for that 3rd one. That leaves a window. Hansen with just 1 remaining. The Palms with 1 remaining. And the Palms take the ringer point. What a comeback.
Seconds behind her. It all came down to inches. What a great showing. Those Liz and Hansen takes the whole team ringer point.
We've got Sam Martin and head coach Chris Curran.
I'm Samuel Martin. I play for the Gainesville Wild.
Chris Guerin, Tampa Bay Brigade.
And we are off. Suicide sprint, taking it back to the gym. Curran and Martin. Martin with a slight lead right now. Going to that 3rd quadrant. And we are sprinting down. Sam Martin, Chris Curran. Here we go. Sam Martin takes. Wait a second. They're going back down. We got 1 more. Mishap by Sam Martin. Chris Curran steps up. Ladies and gentlemen, Sam Martin, Chris Garan. Chris Garan takes the ringer point race. Chris Garan takes the ringer point race.
That one gave me a lot of PTSD. I didn't know how far the distance was, and so it's like running a 400-meter race as a 100-meter. And so it was, by the end, legs were gone. Between then and now, I had got my USA Track and Field Level 1 certification. I got a conditioning running certification, and I took back my college notebook and started practicing for the sprints again. And I made sure this time I wasn't going to lose, so can't do that twice.
So Sam is super fast. Like, there's no way that I should have ever beat him in anything that involves sprinting. But yeah, just, you know, a little fault on my end. I just didn't get my other hand down to touch, and that really kind of threw it out of whack because we obviously didn't get any points for that one because I finished 20% less than he finished. So that threw a wrench in the plans. You know, you never plan to lose, but I figured if he were to run a clean race, unlike the first time when him and I were falling all over the place and we just went Lieutenant Dan, that you know, he would win. But I was just hoping to finish within that 20%, so didn't happen.
I love Element Salt a lot.
Hardcore Element user.
Element's been awesome.
Element.
I've been using Element basically every day. I love it.
I was, back to working out and wanted to make sure that I stayed hydrated because that's so important for your supply.
It was a game changer for me because all through high school and college, I would always cramp. This generally comes from that mineral imbalance. Having Element T, in my training bag keeps me hydrated. It's phenomenal.
It rejuvenates me in the workout. It's what my body craves and it's what it needs after sweating so much. It's definitely helped me get through really long, tough workouts and just give me the energy that I need in order to keep pushing through.
The Peachy shorts are squat proof. They hold up for burpees. Hands down, they're my favorite things to wear. Squat test, I think we're good to go.
These leggings are to die for. So stretchy, super comfy.
They look cute, they feel good, they don't pinch on the sides. The legs are always loose enough and they don't dig in.
They don't move, which I appreciate because I'm one of the curvier girls.
I like them. They're great.
Love everything about them.
I'm really digging the Peachy. I've loved wearing Peachy athletics this year.
Looking peachy.
So, Lily moved in, huh? How's that going?
Amazing. My former office is now home to Lily's dog, Peanut. And houseplants. Lily loves houseplants. Oh, and Lily's brother is crashing here.
And just know they never.
He has a lot of friends. But the best part, Lily put me on this new soda, Olipop. It's actually good for you. 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 Amazing, right?
Fitness has always been very important to me, but it wasn't until I started eating better that I realized that takes your fitness to the next level. My evolution to becoming a nutrition coach kind of started in 2012. And that's when I graduated grad school and started applying the things that I've been learning. So when I started OPB Nutrition, I realized there's just such a void in actual nutrition education. And with so much crap out there on social media and in ads and everything of just misinformation and people falling for these scams and everything, I wanted to, I call it fighting food crime. I wanted to fight against those people. Just so many like overnight results and like quick fixes and stuff like that. And it's really, when you do it correctly, it's just, you gotta get a little bit better every single day. Nutrition education, accountability, and sustainability. 1% better nutrition.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are going to run that back one more time. There was contesting of the fault that took place on one of the reps for the Lions. So we're going to run it back with the last 2 reps. Palms, Lions, 2 reps, rope climb, sprint to the finish, and this will decide who takes this home team ringer point.
Seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get hyped. It's going to be 2 reps. It's going to be the fastest rope climb you've ever seen here.
Oh, right, here we go. We are 20 seconds from the rerun of this home team ringer point. 2 rope climbs total. Hansen for the Palms, Leches for the Lions.
Stand by.
And they're off. Here we go. 2 rope climbs. This is going to be quick. Up to that 15-foot mark. Leches got her first one. Hansen, they are neck and neck. They are going to drop and sprint to the finish. And Leches and the Lions take that home ringer point.
Kicking in a turbo there. As inches behind. Hansen as the Lions take back that home team ringer point. These are why the ringer point races make a difference here in the Florida Greek League. They strategically change.
Thank you for coming and saying
no problem. So Chris, on the last muscle-up, had a hard time getting the last one, so I jumped in, got it. Super easy. Felt like butter. And then I went to the flipper and went to work. Hey, it's 0-0 now. Go! Let's go! This is our race. This is nobody else's. Stand up for what you got. Let's go and win this right now. Let's go! Let's go! Eyes on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Shot, son. You got it. You got it. You get that kiss? That's love, bro. That's love. Fight to the finish.
Ease me off. I don't care about losing. If we lose, as a fucking team. You know this shit what happened 10 minutes ago. We start over now. You understand? I am so sick and tired. I don't mind losing, but I mind when I have an entire team of people acting like children. Squash it and become friends now.
Being a professional strongwoman, we flip heavy objects all the time, so it's right in my wheelhouse. You know, when stuff's flying at you fast, you just fall on your ass. But, you know, it sucks because in the first race, that happened, and I feel like our team lost the race, and if I could have caught it, we would have been better. So we made a little shift in how we were doing the flipper for the second round, and I think it paid off. So you know, we're learning as we go. I wish we knew it all so we could just crush everybody and everything. So
And we are back with our next race, the Echo. And you can judge by the name, the Echo is going to go 2 times through. So these teams are going to send out 1 male, 1 female to chip away at this workout. During this race, it starts with 30 repetitions in the first quadrant. The barbell is shared between the males and the females at 155 pounds. The gentlemen are doing overhead squats and the ladies front squats. From there, they will move to 20 dumbbell burpees over a 20-inch box. And here we go. Medina for the Lions, starting with the overhead squats. Cade Johnson for the Palms, chipping away at his overhead squats. That barbell, 155 pounds, 30 repetitions total, and can be split any way these teams would like to do. Players can switch at any moment, but you can only have 1 male and 1 female on the grid at a time. It looks like at the moment these teams are pretty evenly matched as they work through these 30 reps. 5 reps for the Lions and 5 reps for the Palms now. 1 fault for the Lions. They've got to go and do 1 more. Communication breakdown for the Lions. Now they have started in quadrant number 2. Both teams pretty evenly matched as we work through these 20 dumbbell burpees over a 20-inch box. Dumbbells for the men, 50 pounds. Dumbbells for the ladies, 35 apiece. 20 reps total. After that, they will be moving on to 30 double touches. Double touch is your toes to bar followed with a chest to bar in 1 fluid movement. The Lions have the lead at the moment with 13 reps down. Well, looks like the Lions have 5 reps to go, 7 reps for the Palms. So we got 2 reps now for the Lions, 3 reps for the Palms. Lions with a slight edge. Just 1 rep remaining. Leche starting her double touches for the Lions. Schaefer in for the Palms. Both of them very smooth with these gymnastic movements. Essentially looking synchronized as they work through these 30 double touches. Leches has tagged out Eric Cardona for the Lions, now chipping away at those double touches. After the double touches, we only have 30 hang cleans for the ladies at 125 pounds or hang snatches for the men at 125 pounds. And the Lions have begun. Chelsea Sellers for the Lions, repping out, making that barbell look extremely light. 30 reps at 125 pounds. Marcus Washington for the Palms, hitting his snatches early. Both teams neck and neck, just a few reps ahead for the Lions. 5 reps remain. Chelsea Sellers is going to go all the way with those 30 reps. And she did. 30 repetitions. Chelsea Sellers, 125 pounds. Still just under a minute left for the Palms to finish up and get that 1 extra point to keep them pretty tight in this race. All right. All right, so as I mentioned, this is the Echo. There is 45 seconds of rest, and we are starting right back at the top. Same exact race, one more time through. Once again, starting 1 male, 1 female, 30 repetitions in this first quadrant. Overhead squats for the men, front squats for the ladies, and a 155-pound bar shared between the 2 of them. And they are 5 seconds away from our second round of Echo. And off we go. Once again, Medina for the Lions, starting with the overhead squats. And it looks like, I can't see who, Secord for the Palms, knocking out those front squats. She's now handed it off to Johnson for the Palms. He's knocking away those overhead squats. Medina has not set down his bar yet, working at those 30 repetitions. Guerra now taking over in that first quadrant for the Lions. Looks like the Palms are just a few reps ahead. 5 reps for the Palms, 5 reps for the Lions. 2 reps remaining. And the Palms are 1 rep ahead as they start that dumbbell burpee over that 20-inch box. Once again, 50 pounds in each hand for the men, 35 pounds in each hand for the ladies. Both teams neck and neck in this second quadrant. It's going to come down to this third and fourth quadrant. Palms are just 1 rep behind the Lions. Lions, 5 reps remaining. Hand goes up from a referee for the Palms. Lions with just 1 rep lead at this point. But anything can happen on the grid in these races. Both teams, there was a fault for the Palms. She's got to finish up. Placencia finishes up. It looks like Leches for the Lions got a few reps ahead. And Shern is out there for the Palms, knocking out those double touches. We had 1 fault there for the Lions. Looks like didn't have a chest touch in the bar. Their toes must touch and then their chest must touch with this double touch movement. Hansen is now out there for the Palms. They've got 8 reps. And the Lions only have 1 rep remaining. Once again, we've got Sellers, Chelsea Sellers in quadrant number 4, hitting those hang cleans, 125 pounds. She went unbroken in the first round of this Echo. Let's see how she does this time, handing it off to Santa Ella. And we got Winter Rodriguez for the Palms chipping away at their hang cleans. And Washington now making that 125-pound bar look like it doesn't weigh anything. 4 reps remaining for Sellers. 2 reps, last rep, and the Lions take the second race of the Echo. Back-to-back races going to the Lions. Palms still finishing under that cap, and we'll be back with you in a few moments.
My name is Nick Habish. I am the coach and a player on the Southwest Florida Sharks. I was born in Miami, Florida. I was raised in Miami, New York, Connecticut, kind of all over the place. I went back to Miami for high school and then I joined the Army from there. During high school, I realized I was not super invested in school. It wasn't something I was looking forward to. It wasn't something I wanted to continue with. Probably wasn't mature enough for that. I was in 7th grade when 9/11 happened, and that's something that had kind of like lived on my shoulder over those last couple of years. And when it came time to finish up high school, it was like, what am I gonna do? I figured I can go waste a bunch of time and money in college, or I can go do something that at the time felt like really important. From my time in the service, probably the most important lesson I've learned is like teamwork matters, relying on other people around you, helping to build them up. All of that matters in like the corporate world or the athletic world or anywhere else. And very few people understand that as well as military members. And I think the rest of the population could really benefit from understanding that. Fitness helped me a lot when I was in the Army because obviously I had to be in shape. I was in the infantry. So, that's exactly what you think it is. You have to be in really good shape all the time or your life is at risk. Once I got out, fitness has been really good for my mental health. It's kept me centered. It's kept me engaged. It's kept me motivated. It also helps me have like a shared bond with other people. If I could give anyone any advice, especially if they were like getting out of the military or they're in any other kind of like fraternal organization, like first responder job, I would say definitely get involved in fitness. Get involved in like recreational, like group fitness. Go find a gym where people have similar goals and they want to work towards things like you do, because having a bunch of people like that around you is really beneficial mentally. I'd like to shout out my fiance, Stephanie Boyer, for coming up here and supporting us every single match and putting up with me having to be at practice and dealing with all the players all the time.
could choose between a tire and a flip sled, I would 1000% choose flip sled. You can just do more. You can add weight, you can do multiple different exercises. With a tire, you're kind of stuck with the weight that you have and can only do very simple movements, probably on the top of my head, just like deadlifts and tire flips with it. With the flip sled, you can do so much more. Pushing, pulling, flipping, squats, the whole 9 yards.
The fact that you can actually add as much weight as you want for your big lifters and then still be wide enough for your female athletes as well, not have to have so much square footage space for like tires. All right. I mean, if you have different levels of tires, I mean, have 10 of them, that's a lot of square footage. And for a gym owner, I mean, you need as much square footage for your clientele as possible.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back and we are heading into the ladder. Today's ladder is going to be a thruster ladder. Now each team can send out one player, one male, then one female, alternating as they work through their entire team. 10 players total. The catch here is they have 4 minutes to do so. And as they work through each weight and each quadrant, they get points for each successful lift. Quadrant 1 worth 1 point, 2 is worth 2, and so on as they work through, obviously trying to build up as many points as possible. Starting with the men, the weights in quadrant 1, 205 pounds, then up to 225, 245, and 265. For the ladies, we start at 130, 145 pounds, 160, and quadrant 4 at 175. So here we go. Looks like the Lions sending out Canning. Katie Canning, no problem. She hit first. She went right to the second bar and the third bar, 145, 160, both good. Canning. And Canning, no problem, 175-pound thruster. Johnson for the Palms. He's out in quadrant number 2, making light work of these bars. Quadrant number 3, Johnson, 245, no problem. Vanover, 265. And Johnson got 265. Vanover gets it. He is good as well. And we have Secord. She's out on the grid for the Palms. No problem with that third bar at 160 pounds. I'd like everybody to keep in mind the Palms have thrown their bonus flag, which means this race is worth 1 extra point to the winner. Now the Lions have sent out Chelsea Sellers. She is making light work of this weight. Sellers' 175-pound thruster is good. Washington for the Palms, 245 pounds, no problem. Washington now putting up 275. Morera, 245, that's good. Morera for the Palms. Can he get it? Not a problem, 265. They've got just about 2 minutes left on this time cap. Guerra, she skips the first bar right into that second bar at 145. Now at the third quadrant, 160 pounds, not a problem. And then finally in quadrant number 4, we have Guerra, 175 pounds. She's got it. Looks like there's a fault. Medina needs to go back to the start. While we're there, we've got Winter Rodriguez for the Palms. She's in the third quadrant, 160 pounds, not a problem. Stepping over that bar, heading into 175 pounds for Rodriguez. She's gonna power clean and then explode for that thruster. She's got it. Medina hits all 4 quadrants, not a problem. Shern now coming out for the Palms, quadrant number 2. He hit the 225 without issue. Shern, 245, also got it. There we go. Lavallee, she's into the 4th quadrant for the Lions. No problem, 175. Placencia out on the grid. 3rd quadrant, 160 pounds. She's got it. Eric Cardona is out on the grid for the Lions now. He's hitting that 2nd quadrant, 225. They've got about 30 seconds left. Every point counts for this ladder race. And let's see who we got out there. Schaefer out on the grid. Macarelli, no problem, quadrant 2. Macarelli for the Lions, 160 pounds. She's got it. And Schaefer, and it looks like they have run out of time. We'll be back with our next ringer point.
I love Element Salt a lot.
Hardcore Element user.
Element's been awesome.
Element.
I've been using Element basically every day. I love it.
I was, back to working out and wanted to make sure that I stayed hydrated because that's so important for your supply.
It was a game changer for me because all through high school and college, I would always cramp. This generally comes from that mineral imbalance. Having Element T, in my training bag keeps me hydrated. It's phenomenal.
It rejuvenates me in the workout. It's what my body craves and it's what it needs after sweating so much. It's definitely helped me get through really long, tough workouts and just give me the energy that I need in order to keep pushing through.
I started noticing last week that my squats started to feel better. And I thought maybe it was a coincidence. And I was like, well, whatever, maybe I'm just having a good squat day. And then I PR'd my snatch that night. So I'm starting to make the connection that taking these amino acids has been just a really good effect on my strength overall and how I've been feeling with my lifts. I feel like BCAAs and aminos are one of those supplements that people go back and forth with, like, do you need to supplement with it? Do you not? Because a lot of people and myself would always say, like, it's better to get those types of things from the foods that you eat. We need all of the amino acids together in specific amounts, and that's what really helps that muscle synthesis versus just getting some aminos here and there from different foods that you're getting in not the correct amounts. And overall, I just feel like the past few weeks especially that I've been feeling more confident in my lifts. The heavier weights have been easier to manage and to move, whereas, usually it's like, okay, I gotta either warm up a lot beforehand or I'm not super confident in them. But I've been noticing, like, I'll put heavier weights in the bar and not notice it, and they'll feel as if they were lighter weights.
All right, we are back live at the Southern Conference Championships. Moving on to our away team, Ringer Point. This was chosen by the South Beach Palms, and the race today will be 6 triple touches for time. Triple touch is a toe to bar, chest to bar, and muscle up in one movement. Palms sending out Heather Hudson, and the Lions sending out Eric Cardona. Do not blink. This is going to be fast.
Referees ready, player ready. Stand by. Race.
And here we go, folks. 6 triple touches, very fast. Hudson's on the bar first, but who can get through these movements the quickest? That's the question. 6 reps each. Toe to bar, chest to bar, muscle up. 2 reps remaining for each player. What is going to happen here? 1 rep each. This is going to come down to a sprint to the finish line. Cardona's off the bar. He sprints. Oh, and sticks landing over the finish line. Hudson still trying to get that finished. Having some trouble. Lions take that Ringer Point. We'll be back with Jack and Jill.
I'm Dr. Jamie here with the Box Stop, and we are going to talk a little bit about staying safe with your kipping movements while doing movements like the double touch and the triple touch. So first off, if we aren't capable of doing toes to bar, chest to bar, and bar muscle ups, we should work on those things separately before you start getting into putting them together. But this is kind of a length tensionship relationship as well. And what we're trying to do here is maintain our body in good tension as we start moving through these patterns. If you do a toes to bar and you're too far underneath the rig, you're going to lose all your tension when you try to pop up into that pull-up position. So one of the things that you'll see is people will actually come back pretty far on the toes to bar so that they can drive through and get their chest to the bar for that next part of the movement. The triple touch is no different, except for you, instead of going back into the toes to bar, you're going to go now into that bar muscle up. So most of the faults that we see with the double touch and triple touch can also kind of mimic the just regular kipping pattern, whether you're doing butterfly pull-ups or butterfly chest to bar in regards to the front part of your shoulder. So if we're missing that range of motion going through, we're gonna really struggle with that kip. If we're having pain as we pull and we fall through, you're gonna struggle when we start to do that butterfly. So what we're gonna try to do is make sure that we have available range of motion, but also the strength that we need to be able to move into those patterns.
So, Lily moved in, huh? How's that going?
Amazing. My former office is now home to Lily's dog, Peanut. And houseplants. Lily loves houseplants. Oh, and Lily's brother is crashing here.
He has a lot of friends. But the best part, Lily put me on this new soda, Olipop. It's actually good for you. 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 Amazing, right?
All right, party people, we are back with Jack and Jill. This is an excellent race to showcase our body weight specialists in the league. There are going to be 1 male and 1 female out on the grid at a time. And this Jack and Jill, they have 30 bar muscle ups, 20 ring muscle ups, and 5 backwards roll to support. Now this is a great race, once again, to see the fantastic body weight specialists. Usually a pretty tight race, but anything can happen. And we are 10 seconds away from go time.
Ready.
And here we go. Guerra and Santa Ella out for the Lions. Rodriguez and Shern out for the Palms. Now you'll see on your screen that both teams are waterfalling is what they would call that. 1 repetition per player, and as they finish the rep, the next player starts their repetitions. A quicker way to knock out those 30 bar muscle ups. 1 male, 1 female on the grid at a time. They can tag in at any time as they move through these movements. And it looks like Santa Ella is going to tag out. Shern has tagged out for the Palms, and the Lions have a lead. They send out Moran. He is knocking out those 20 ring muscle ups. The Palms still have a few repetitions left. 2 reps left for the Palms on the bar muscle ups. All right, and Schaefer is going to start those ring muscle ups for the Palms. We've got 10 reps down for the Lions. Leches now out on the rings for the Lions. She is now doing a butterfly muscle up. Doing muscle ups alone, very difficult. A butterfly muscle up is next level. 4 reps remaining for the Lions. There's several reps behind for the Palms. Schaefer still on those rings, chipping away. Leches finishes the ring muscle ups. Cardona for the Lions, hitting that backwards roll to support. He's got 2 reps remaining, 1 rep. And Cardona wraps it up for the Palms. They're gonna take this race. 1 minute left still for Cardona takes it for the Lions. The Palms are still chipping away at their movements. They've got 45 seconds to finish their 4 reps of backward roll to support. They still need every point they can get. 35 seconds remain. Can they get it? 1 rep still remaining for the Palms. Oh, and there's a fault. Let's see if he's gonna shake it out. He still has some time. And he's gonna hop up on those rings for 1 more. Backwards roll to support. Not gonna be any good. 10 seconds remaining. Henry was going for it, but they're not gonna be able to finish this race. 0 points going to the Palms, 2 points going to the Lions. We'll be right back.
I didn't think they were going to be good because they were frozen, but they're amazing.
Definitely can't find any healthy foods at an event, so this is awesome.
My favorite meal is to eat. Cheers.
Well.
I'm a firefighter. I sweat and train in gear. I reach over 100 degrees body temp internally, like while I'm working, and I sweat so much that just pure water isn't enough to replenish me. I do need the actual electrolytes. So this is really helpful. It has the electrolytes, minerals, and vitamins inside that I need, and it tastes really good. It's nice to have, especially to carry with me in this little packet. It doesn't take up a lot of space. It's not in a big jar, and it's good. It tastes great.
I mean, with soccer or any sport, really, you always have like girls are better at this in sports, or guys are better at this, but it's like it kind of meshes and goes away in grid because you have your job and that's it. You're good at your job or you're not. So it's not so much guy versus girl anymore. It's just you're a human, do your job.
I don't treat them like dainty little ladies. I don't think they're lesser or weaker or softer. They deserve the same compliments and reprimands that everybody else on our team does.
I
I love that we had to share the same weights, the same box, and the same everything.
There's guys who are afraid of the girls, like, oh man, she's really good at this or whatever, and I have to go against her.
And I let the guys know, be like, hey, this is what they just ran. You need to match it or beat it. Otherwise, you're going to hear about it.
All right, and we are back. The Lions and the Palms Southern Conference Championship. Just to recap, with that ladder race that we had, final score 76-75. The Lions took the ladder race, leaving our score going into the next race at 16 for the Lions, 7 for the Palms. And now we head into the triad. The triad for the ladies. We're going to send out 3 females on the grid at a time, starting with 25 kettlebell swing. And we'll be right back, folks.
I started noticing last week that my squats started to feel better, and I thought maybe it was a coincidence, and I was like, well, whatever, you know, maybe I'm just having a good squat day. And then I PR'd my snatch that night. So I'm starting to make the connection that taking these amino acids has been just a really good effect on my strength overall and how I've been feeling with my lifts. I feel like BCAAs and aminos are one of those supplements that people go back and forth with, like, do you need to supplement with it? Do you not? Because a lot of people and myself would.
All right, I'm sorry for the interruption, folks. We are back with the triad. 20 seconds from the start of this race, sending out the ladies first. 3 females on the grid, starting with 25 kettlebell swings, 53 pounds each.
Players ready. Stand by.
And they are off. Here we go, folks. Once again, kicking things off with 25 kettlebell swings at 53 pounds. Now, 3 ladies can be on the grid at a time. They can tag in and out with other ladies at the start line at any point, but they cannot move on to the next movement until all 3 sections of that quadrant are completed. Now you'll see that they are standing side by side. If at any point one of the ladies finishes her reps, she can step over and help one of her partner players on the grid complete. I see hands going up for all referees, so all of these teams are pretty even. Lions are heading to the next movement, 15 chest to bars. All 3 ladies needing to complete 15 chest to bar pull-ups before they can move on to their wall balls. 1 rep remaining for the Lions. Lions doing a substitution, starting their wall balls. Still a pretty close race. We've got 15 wall balls. That is a 14-pound wall ball to a 10-foot target. And we are watching for hands from our referees. Hands are up for the Lions. Hands are up for the Palms. 4 reps remaining. 3 reps. And Sellers is going to tag out for the Lions. Now they're moving on to their 3 freestanding handstand push-ups. They must do those push-ups with shoulders, hips, and ankles lined up over their hands. Now these Lions are moving on to the final piece. They've got 15 hang squat cleans. That bar is 100 pounds. Palms are behind, sending out Placencia to help these ladies reach these 15 reps. Just over a minute left on their time. We've got a fault for the Lions. Hands are up. It looks like the Lions are going to take this race. Just a few reps remaining. 3 reps remaining for the Lions. Lavallee finishing that for the Lions. 45 seconds on the cap, and it looks like Placencia will wrap it up for the Palms, and we'll be right back.
My name is Courtney Moss. I play for the Tampa Bay Brigade, and I am a strength specialist on the team. I was born in Montgomery, Alabama. Fun fact about Montgomery, Alabama, it is the home of the Air Force, so I was actually born on Maxwell Air Force Base. Fun fact. I attended Alabama Christian Academy in Montgomery, Alabama, and I played both football and baseball. I decided to join the Army after all of my mentors growing up through sports from 5 until 21. All of them influenced me in so many ways, and just being that person to be service, to give service back to the community, service back to the world, service back to everyone. So I decided to join the military because I wanted to give that service back to the world. The biggest lesson I learned in the service that I would love to share with everyone is we are meant to do challenging things. Things may seem insurmountable, but we have the grit inside of us to get them all done. Fitness has helped me so much in character building. There's days that become challenging. There's days that are just mentally grinding, and being able to overcome, surpass all those other things that you have to normally go throughout the day. Incorporating fitness, it's so much character building, so it's built my character so much. Advice I would give to people that are on a similar path or on that fence line, try it, give it a try, see what happens. Shoot for the stars, land on the moon. Special shout out always goes to my mom. She's been the rock of my life. Anything I've ever done, athletic-wise and sport-wise, it's been motivation and inspiration through her, and that's who I am today because of her.
Dr. Jamie here with the Box Doc, and we are going to talk about some safety tips when doing freestanding handstand push-ups or really any kind of handstand push-ups in general. The most important thing we need to look at is our neck posture. So we don't want to be coming down with our neck extended. That puts a lot of compression through our cervical spine. If you are getting a lot of pain when you do handstand push-ups in your neck, we need to either look at the mechanics or check your strength. There are definitely ways that we can strengthen your neck muscles to be able to better support you into those positions. So there are a few different ways we can strengthen the muscles in the neck. We can do stuff lying on your back. We can actually do some neck work with some bands. The other thing to really focus on in a freestanding handstand push-up would be actually just holding that tripod position and getting comfortable being vertical with your neck in a good position. So just some tripod holds will really start to help build your capacity in that position.
Fitness has always been very important to me, but it wasn't until I started eating better that I realized like that takes your fitness to the next level. My evolution to becoming a nutrition coach kind of started in 2012, and that's when I graduated grad school and started applying the things that I've been learning. So when I started OPB Nutrition, I realized there's just such a void in actual nutrition education, and with so much crap out there on social media and in ads and everything of just misinformation and people falling for these scams and everything, I wanted to, I call it fighting food crime. I wanted to fight against those people. There's so many like overnight results and like quick fixes and stuff like that. And it's really, when you do it correctly, it's just, you gotta get a little bit better every single day. Nutrition education, accountability, and sustainability. 1% better nutrition.
All right, and we are back to the action. Just wrapping up the female triad. The grid has been reset, and now we are heading in to the male triad. Same format as you just saw before. This time, we're sending out the gentlemen. 3 males out on the grid at a time. They are starting with 25 kettlebell swings at 70 pounds, and then moving on to those chest-to-bar pull-ups. We've got just about 20 seconds before they kick things off. Score currently 18-8. And here we go, male triad.
Stand by.
And we're off. Both teams kicking it off, 25 kettlebell swings, 70 pounds per kettlebell. Once again, 3 males out on the quadrant at a time. They can tag in at any point, but they cannot move on to the next movement until all 3 stations are complete. At the moment, both teams chipping away pretty smooth with those kettlebells. Very strong competitors on these teams, these players. Station 1, looks like the Lions just have a few reps lead over the Palms. And that is the case. Actually, both teams have moved on to their chest-to-bar pull-ups, 15 chest-to-bars. We have Santa Ella, Cardona, and Moran out on the grid for the Lions. Schaefer, Schern, and Johnson for the Palms. Chipping away at those 15 chest-to-bar. Lions already moving on to those wall balls. Those wall balls are 30 pounds. That is a considerable difference from what we are used to. 30 pounds, 10-foot target, and just about halfway through their reps, the Lions have a small lead over the Palms. One station done for the Lions, one station remaining for the Lions, and now Lions have moved on to their freestanding handstand push-ups. There was a fault for the Lions, leaves a small window for the Palms. I see Johnson out on the grid for the Palms. Henry and Shern still going. Shern trying to get that last rep. There he goes. He's got it. Palms are just a few reps behind the Lions. They now are chipping away at 15 hang squat cleans at 155 pounds. That is a hang down into a full squat, standing it into full extension. Now this requires some strategic planning because there can be muscle failure with this type of weight at this distance into the race. One station done for the Lions. One station left for the one rep remaining for Shern, and the Lions have taken this race by just about 2 seconds. Holy smokes, we'll be right back.
The Grid League often gets compared to CrossFit, so we're going to take a minute today and talk a little bit about what the similarities and differences are. And we're going to end this video with how we see Grid League affecting CrossFit as it grows. There are 3 primary similarities when it comes to CrossFit and Grid. The first of which is the most obvious, and that's the fact that we use some of the same movements. We both use a lot of weightlifting movements, gymnastics movements, pull-ups, box jumps, wall balls. But what you'll find is that's true in a lot of sports. Of course, CrossFit and weightlifting both use the snatch and clean and jerk. Both baseball and cricket hit a ball. Rugby and football have tackling, and lots of sports use running. Next, both CrossFit and Grid use time as a part of their competitions. This is also true of track and field, marathons, and any other form of race that exists in the world. The third and most special similarity is all those haters on the internet talking about how our pull-ups aren't real and we're just using momentum. Love those guys, and they're always so original with what they say. So when it comes to what's different between CrossFit and Grid, you have to start with the origin. What is it all about? So CrossFit, by their own definition on their own website, talks about how CrossFit is a training methodology and a lifestyle first. The competitive form of CrossFit is an awesome part of sports as far as I'm concerned, but its purpose is secondary to the fact that CrossFit is about developing fitness and healthy lifestyle first. The Grid League was born to be an entertainment entity. It was designed to be a sport that's fun to watch and fun to play first. So who participates in these sports? CrossFit is very individually focused. The individual form of CrossFit competition is by far the most popular, and the teams that do exist are 4-person teams, so they're on the small side. There's no individual form of Grid League. Grid League consists of 18-person teams as the true definition of a team sport. The title of the CrossFit Games is to find the fittest on earth. Grid League is more of a traditional team sport where the goal of that season is to find the championship winning team of the season. There's also a big difference between the events that make up each sport. The events that make up a CrossFit competition are called workouts. The events that make up a Grid League match are called races. CrossFit uses a series of these workouts to test various dimensions of fitness that, combined, give a holistic picture of total fitness. Grid is a series of races made up of athletic elements that must be executed as fast as possible by a team. Like any race that exists in the world today, a Grid League race takes place between a start line and a finish line, and the goal is always to cross that finish line first. CrossFit workouts are performed in a wide range of speeds. Grid League only has one pace: fast. CrossFit workouts are many different time domains, sometimes lasting hours. Grid League races are all very short, 5 minutes or less. A full CrossFit competition usually lasts many hours or multiple days. A Grid League match is about an hour and a half. CrossFit starts with a worldwide open and narrows the field over a series of events across many divisions, culminating in the CrossFit Games. The Grid League follows a traditional sports season format, starting with a combine called the American Grid Trials, from which teams recruit for their season. There's then a series of matches amongst city-based teams making up a regular season, and the top teams from that regular season move on to the playoff bracket, culminating in the championship match. The winning team is named the champion of that season. Let's look at the differences between the competitors in these individual sports. CrossFitters must be extremely well-rounded to perform.
All right, folks, we are back for the final race of this match, the sprint relay. And before we get to that, let's talk about what just happened with that triad. The Lions have forfeited. There was a rerun for the male triad, so the Lions have forfeited that race to the Palms, bringing our score 19-10, Lions and Palms. We've got about 1 minute until, actually we will be back, and we'll be back in just a moment.
I started noticing last week that my squats started to feel better, and I thought maybe it was a coincidence, and I was like, well, whatever, maybe I'm just having a good squat day. And then I PR'd my snatch that night. So I'm starting to make the connection that taking these amino acids has been just a really good effect on my strength overall and how I've been feeling with my lifts. I feel like BCAAs and aminos are one of those supplements that people go back and forth with, like, do you need to supplement with it? Do you not? Because a lot of people and myself would always say, like, it's better to get those types of things from the foods that you eat. We need all of the amino acids together in specific amounts, and that's what really helps that muscle synthesis versus just getting some aminos here and there from different foods that you're getting in not the correct amounts. And overall, I just feel like the past few weeks especially that I've been feeling more confident in my lifts. The heavier weights have been easier to manage and to move, whereas, usually it's like, okay, I gotta either warm up a lot beforehand or I'm not super confident in them. But I've been noticing, like, I'll put heavier weights in the bar and not notice it, and they'll feel as if they were lighter weights. Fitness has always been very important to me, but it wasn't until I started eating better that I realized, like, that takes your fitness to the next level. My evolution to becoming a nutrition coach kind of started in 2012, and that's when I graduated grad school and started applying the things that I've been learning. So when I started OPB Nutrition, I realized there's just such a void in actual nutrition education, and with so much crap out there on social media and in ads and everything of just misinformation and people falling for these scams and everything, I wanted to, I call it fighting food crime. I wanted to fight against those people. There's so many like overnight results and like quick fixes and stuff like that, and it's really, when you do it correctly, it's just, you gotta get a little bit better every single day. Nutrition education, accountability, and sustainability. 1% better nutrition.
So, Lily moved in, huh? How's that going?
Amazing. My former office is now home to Lily's dog, Peanut. And houseplants. Lily loves houseplants. Oh, and Lily's brother is crashing here.
And it's no day never.
He has a lot of friends. But the best part, Lily put me on this new soda, Olipop. It's actually good for you. 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 Amazing, right?
Didn't think they were going to be good because they were frozen, but they're amazing.
Definitely can't find any healthy foods at an event, so this is awesome.
My favorite meal is to eat cherry ball.
Big thanks to our DJ MP.
All right, we are back. We had to straighten up a few things out on the grid, and now we are getting ready for this sprint relay, the final race of the match. This is a relay race. Each team is going to send out a player. Each athlete takes one element. Then they must sprint back 4 points of contact at the start line and then sprint through the finish. Now the Lions have taken a demanding lead as we head into this final race. And the Lions are a two-time Grid League championship team. 2018, they won, and the As One tournament in 2020. If you are a fan of the Lions, you can catch a YouTube video that has been made about that first championship race and match. It's about a half-hour long. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and ring that bell for notifications. 15 seconds, and we are kicking this thing off. It's the sprint relay. This thing starts in 3 seconds.
Stand by.
And we're off. 10 double dumbbell, shoulder to overhead, 60-pound dumbbells in each hand. Secord for the Palms, and Chelsea Sellers for the Lions, taking out this first movement. Sellers, she's done. Lions sending out their player, Moran. He's out knocking out those 20 handstand push-ups. And Rodriguez for the Palms. Moran looking like we have him on a sped up version. He is knocking those things out. Both of them are done. Oh, there was a fault for the Palms. Lions, Moran sprinting through the finish. Guerra heading out for the Lions for 4 back uprise. She hits toes to those rings and then into that reverse uprise. Very difficult gymnastic movement. And Cody Schaefer now out for the Palms, also making it look very easy. Guerra sprinting through the finish. Schaefer hitting his 4 points of contact. He's sprinting through. Morera, legless rope climbs, 3 legless rope climbs. And he's got 1 left. Cade Johnson for the Palms. He's playing catch up, making those look very simple. 1 rep remaining for the Palms. Morera sprinting through the finish line. And now the Palms are the Lions have started their pig flip. That pig needs to stay in the grid. There, he is moving it over. Laura for the Palms. This pig is 100 pounds. They have to flip it end over the entire grid and must cross the finish line with the instrument in its entirety. Laura right behind Santaella. 1 more flip. He's got it. Laura also got it. Leches for the Lions. She's got 20 Gestabar pull-ups. Hudson for the Palms. Both of these ladies very skilled in their gymnastic movements, tearing away at those 20 reps. Once they've completed those, the next player for each team will have 6 plate handstand step overs, and that's over the 45-pound Valor Fitness plates out on the grid. Look at these ladies sprinting through the finish line. What a race. Hanson and Canning doing these walkovers. They must step over 6 reps. Canning, Hanson, both sprinting through, all done with those handstand step overs. And finally, both teams sending out their strong guys. 3 cleans, 315 pounds. Washington, no issue. 2 reps down, 1 rep to go. Medina, also not a problem. Marcus Washington needs to sprint back. Medina's got 1 rep remaining. Washington running through the finish line. The Palms are going to take this sprint relay. Both teams with a valiant effort. And these Fort Lauderdale Lions will move on to the championship against whoever wins our Northern Conference Championship coming up later today. So,